There was a study out of George Mason University that I cited in the book, two separate studies that tracked the impact of federal overregulation on the states. And what they tracked was I guess you call it a concept called regulatory accumulation, where essentially the federal government passes a regulation, and then instead of repealing and replacing, they just slap more regulation on top of it. And so you have this growth of the federal superstate, and every one of us is drowned in red tape. We're just bound to pieces. And so what they found was from 1949 to the release of the study, which I think was like 2014, 2015, that there was an accumulation. Essentially, federal regulatory accumulation created a 2% compression of GDP that compounded year over year. And so the conclusion of both of those studies is that in the absence of federal regulatory accumulation, each Texan would essentially have 600% increase in how much wealth they were able to bring home from their job or their business. Now that's 600%. I mean, that's an enormous amount. So imagine the economic impact on that. And one of the things the study cited that I thought was pretty egregious is that Texas, because we are such a net producer in the federal system, we're disproportionately affected by federal regulatory accumulation because of the three industries that are effectively the pillars of our economy, which is agriculture, energy, and technology. And the federal regulations on those three industries are some of the most onerous that you could possibly imagine.